Allen. I am the program coordinator for the DEC Network, one of the program coordinators for the DEC Network, and I manage all the programs here in Dallas. As I'm welcoming you all, I just want to share really quick before we get into it. Mr. Curtis, my guy, right?
Yeah.
Those of you who know are familiar with me, I started here at the DEC Network. It will be 3 years at the end of May that I started here, and I started as a community coordinator, which means I run the day-to-day operations that happen inside the center, the facility, and we were over inside the mall in our smaller space, and so Mr. Curtis, of course, was there with me, and as I was coming every day, being with the entrepreneurs and all of the things, Mr. Curtis was there every day. That's his office. And that space was smaller. And so we're all in the same space. And Mr. Curtis would be on the phone, just running his mouth and, you know, having his meetings and all the things. And I can hear everything he's talking about. And as I've gotten to know him over these 3 years, Mr. Curtis is he was more than just a member to me then. He's more than just a member to me now. He is my family. I call him my uncle, but he won't accept that big brother, right? But you know how it is in our community, our uncles is just a few years older. But I appreciate him. He is true, right? I think we all can agree he's a true warrior, and he is a true man of his word, right? And so I just appreciate you for always being just a phone call away. Literally, he's one of my phone friends. I am not from Dallas. I'm a transplant from Minneapolis, and I've been here 4 years, worked here 3, and ever since I came, Mr. Curtis, literally, I can call him and go on up and do my ranting and all the things, and he's just always been a safe space. So I just want to give you your flowers and tell you thank you, and I appreciate you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm honored to be here with you tonight. All right, so we're gonna jump right in, just for the sake of time, okay? We appreciate y'all again for being here. You could be anywhere in the world and you're here. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Keandra Jones, who is the president of the Oak Cliff Chamber, so welcome, beautiful. And then we're gonna go ahead and have our panel. If you all can introduce yourself, what you do, like where would somebody know you from, and then we'll jump right in to what's going on. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. It is an honor to be here to celebrate you. I'm Byron Sanders. A few hats I wear: husband, father, son, brother, Oak Cliff kid, Oak Cliff, DeSoto, Southern Dallas, all of that. And today, I'm also the founder of Arete Health, which is a healthcare insurance innovation firm. And so what we're doing is we're prioritizing moving prevention radically to the forefront of healthcare and taking care of the people who've been least well served. So that's what I do vocationally, and I also happen to be in my free time on the school board, Dallas Independent School District, representing Power D5, South Oak Cliff, Roosevelt, Pinkston, Townview, Hutch. Those are my communities too, and real pleasure to be here with y'all today.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Lubbock Smith III. I'm not from Lubbock, Texas, for people who do not know me, all right? I'm from Oak Cliff, born and raised, living in South Dallas. I am the president of the South Dallas market at Vista Bank. It's the first bank to be in South Dallas in over 30 plus years. And I also happen to be named recently in February the first black president of Vista Bank.
Let's go.
Appreciate it. And so with that being said, similar to my man Byron, and along with these very distinguished men to my right, I am a husband of 12 years, a father to 2 beautiful children. My daughter Genesis is 7, my son Ezra, who's driving us crazy, at 1.5. And more than anything, business leader, community leader, and a love of Christ. And I also happen to be the banker of Curtis Corbin's. And so anything he say do, I show up and I'll be there for him. So thank y'all.
Testing. What's up? My name is Roland Parrish. Came here in 1989, opened on Juneteenth in Pleasant Grove, McDonald's restaurant, right across from Hunt's Foods. And since then, we've grown to be one of the largest franchisees in the U.S. And really proud the Dallas Business Journal has ranked my company based on sales and the number of employees the #1 business in North Texas. 6 6 years in a row. Michael Jordan, 6 years, right? Yeah, we might hit 7. We might hit 7. But I think I really know more as a philanthropist. Luke 12:48, to whom much is given, much is required. I really think a lot of my success has been more because I've been a philanthropist. You guys remember that old hymn? The more you give, the more he gives to you. I really think I'm an epitome of that. So I'm all the things that Byron said, but one thing he didn't say, I am a granddad. So I'm a 3-time granddad, okay? And with that, I'd like to introduce and let him take the mic, Mr. Willis Johnson.
Thank you, Roland. Willis Johnson, the founder of JBJ Management. I was telling somebody though, May 7th, it will be 50 years that I was hired by Tom Joyner to come to KKDA in 1976. So it's just age. Just age, you know. I was, you know, you get up in the morning and it's your elbow, it's your back, it's your knee, but it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm just a big fan of Curtis, and I'm a big fan of this community. That's the one thing that I've been fortunate to be a part of, is this community for 50 years, and I'm glad to see finally, I remember Old Redbird, but I'm pleased and proud to have been a part of Peter Brodsky's first day here. And that Peter Brodsky, when he bought this mall, we were with him. And everything that has turned out to be fantastic. And so it's a pleasure to be here today.
All right.
Thank you all very much. Again, my name is Keandra Jones, and I'm the president of the oldest chamber of commerce in the Metroplex, Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce. We were established in 1920. I think that's very important that we state that. But I'd like to publicly say to my dear friends, if anybody knows how me and Curtis banter back and forth, you rarely hear us say anything good to each other, but publicly, I'd like to say that I'm so proud of you, friends, for all of your many accomplishments, and I'm happy to call you friends. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am honored to serve as your moderator this evening and be on the stage with these legendary giants. I've got just a few questions for them, and what we're going to do is kind of mix things up. It's going to be the same question for each one of you. I know that they don't know what I'm going to ask. Maybe many of you that know me personally may be a little afraid, but don't be. Don't be. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start from, we're going to make reference to Curtis's book. And in his first chapter, it's titled The Title Behind the Glory. And we all know that Curtis is a man of faith. He's consistently talking about the role God has played in his life. In about 2 minutes, Willis, can you tell me the story behind how God has been glorified in your journey and overall success?
My father was a minister. He baptized me when I was 6 years old, but he died when I was 12 from prostate cancer. And so my mom, she took the baton, and the rest is history. She was a PTA president. She was head of the senior choir. She was in the Bible study group. I had to go to vacation Bible school. I had to go to Sunday school at 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, I mean, I had I'm just telling you, tell Pastor Carter, I like it when he gets out in 1 hour, man, but it has been it is the foundation. It is the foundation of who I am. And the times that I've strayed, the times that I've gotten off the path, it's not because I wasn't taught. It's not because I didn't know. It's not because my parents didn't do what they were supposed to do. That was a huge portion. And so now, I am a father of 7 children, 8 grandchildren, and on Sunday morning, even when we're not at Concord, we're watching Concord, and my oldest son will call me and say, man, Pastor Carter preached today, and that means the world to me when I hear that.
Thank you so much. Mr. Parrish? Same question. Can you share a story behind God being glorified in your journey and overall success?
First, I want to give a little bit of background. I am a PK also, preacher's kid, pastor's kid. And one thing Willis left out in the 9 o'clock Sunday school and in church, but BTU, remember BTU? 3 o'clock service and maybe night service too. Yeah, so that was great. And I like to pay a tribute to my father. You know, there were a lot of Dr. Kings. There were a lot of civil rights leaders. So he was a civil rights leader in our community. He was president of NAACP from 1959 to 1969. And then he actually was elected as the first black elected official in the city of Hammond, which is between Gary and Chicago. And he had the black community, but he had the business district also, and he was a fighter. And what I learned from that was the business people began to like him because he would fight for them. And would fight for the community. And there wasn't a mix. So they were very community oriented. Personally, I feel that God sent me to Pleasant Grove. Some other folks came as new franchisees. They went to Capel, they went north. I think by me going into the neighborhood, I tell people I met the preachers, the pastors, the teachers, but also knew the drug dealers. They respected what we did in the community. And the old Soul Stirrer song, Jesus Be a Fence All Around Me. What's the guy lives here? He remade it. But Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers made it originally. And I would pray and if you know Pleasant Grove, anybody know the Grove?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was up between where Hunt's Foods is and Buckner and Brew for almost 10 years. Back and forth. They knew my car. And but I would always say, you know, Jesus, you know, be a fence all around me. So I really think by being implanted there. The last point I mentioned was I began to meet so many preachers. You guys know where Lincoln Cemetery is?
Yes. Who don't?
So on Saturdays, a lot of funeral processions will come through. Then the word get out that, hey, it's a little black man that owns that new McDonald's. And I met so many ministers. So I began to meet the community by being in the community, not being in Capel or whatever. And last one I'll bring is, McDonald's really didn't want to come to Pleasant Grove. But those restaurants, Loop 12 in Buckner, Humphrey Way, Elam Road, are some of the highest grossing restaurants, McDonald's restaurants in the state.
So I'm gonna keep this trend going. I'm actually a PK kid myself. Coming out of Lighthouse Church of God in Christ on 8th and Corinth. Can't just join there, ain't gotta be born there. Alright. But in terms of God being glorified in my journey, I would definitely say it's my entire journey, my entire life. From, you know, being prophesied in my mother's womb that I was gonna, you know, grow up and God will use me greatly, to making it out of Hampton Terrace apartments right here off Hampton Block, in Lancaster Road in Marfa, right by Rudy's. To then, you know, going to Carter High School and playing collegiate football, you know, being able to make it out the hood and get a full ride to the University of Kansas, given that my dad went to prison when I was 9 years old, and growing up in a single parent household, being able to beat those odds, all the way to my last game of my senior year, turned my entire left knee, not being able to play football anymore, to the athletics department creating position for me to then pay for my master's program. And then from there, doing great things in that career stint in D1 athletics, to lose my job during COVID and having to move back to Dallas, moving with my mom, with my wife and my daughter. To then not, you know, thinking as a victim, but making the most of my opportunity at that time and making a victorious story, to becoming a substitute teacher at KIPP Truth Academy. 2 to 3 weeks later, they promoted me to 3rd grade lead math teacher. They almost tripled my salary, created my own fitness and consulting business, created a real estate brokerage for 2 of my business partners. One is right here from Oak Cliff. And then from there, co-founded a nonprofit, and then met the CEO of our bank at Vista Bank at a restaurant called Lucky's, when God told me to go to that restaurant, and when I wanted to go to Chick-fil-A right here, right? But I was being led by the Lord and just following that. And since then, you know, if you know me, you know my story, that I've been in banking 4 years. God doesn't call to qualify, he qualifies to call. Now I'm in this position, I'm sitting in this seat today because God has called me and used me as a vessel to be able to empower other people that if I can do it, we all can do it too as well. And the great men up here are living testimonies of that as well. And I think it's now for such a time as this for us to work collectively and galvanize our resources and the power and the talents that God's given us to usher in the God's kingdom for his people and his community in a way that hasn't been done before. So that's my story.
I'm not a preacher's kid, but I know a lot of them. And y'all know, if you grew up in the South, and particularly in Dallas, and you grew up in the black community, oftentimes a lot of us, we just were at church, you know, all the time. Wednesday nights, we didn't talk about that part, and then you had to go on Saturday for practice, because you're about to sing on Sunday, and then, you know, you got 3 different services. And then we gotta go visit somebody else's church. We gotta go like a gang. We show up like, you know, and then it's just what it is. So my story is very interesting. I'm gonna give you the abbreviated short version of it. I grew up in a household that it had 2 parents, and most of my childhood, I wish I only had 1. So it was abusive. My mother was regularly physically abused in front of me, and that kind of shaped a lot of my identity. And what it did was, I was always wanting to be outside. So when something was ending, I was trying to find the next thing to be involved in. Theater, track, football, Odyssey of the Mind at the time, now Destination Imagination, Math Olympiad, didn't matter. I needed to be outside, because if my mom had to take me to rehearsal or practice or the event or this over here, whatever, then we weren't at home. And if we weren't at home, we were safe. And when I went, I couldn't just go, I needed to be great, because I needed a trophy or a medal or a sticker or a good report card or just a funny story, because I get at home and I run inside, be like, Dad, look what I got, look what I did. Be a distraction, be happy. If Dad's happy, Mom's safe. And so imagine kind of carrying that weight with you since you were, 6, whatever. And it's interesting, it shaped an identity for me. 1, be active, be doing things, be outside. That's where safety is, that's where goodness is, that's where joy and all of that is. And so I carried that with me all the way to college. And I got pretty good at it, and I thought I had the Midas touch. If I wanted to join something, I was about to join it, I was gonna fix it, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be great. Because why? Because that's what I do, okay? Now, let alone, you should probably assess what you're doing. Is it worth your time? Is that where your gift should be? Is that what God's called you to do? I ain't worried about any of that. Well, if I was gonna do it, I was gonna do it because I wanted to, and I could. Well, I joined a fraternity, and I was gonna fix that. Did not. One of the people that I helped and asked to join nearly lost his life. Because of me, what I allowed to happen, what I participated in, by the grace of God, he survived. But I don't know if y'all remember around 2004 or so, 2003, SMU, all of these brothers were kicked out, and several of them were facing charges. And so now I'm an expelled student. So imagine I tried to model myself after everything that my dad wasn't. And then I end up in a place where he was an abuser and a college dropout. I'm now a hazer and expelled. And I thought it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. But that's where grace stepped in.
Amen.
And when I couldn't help myself, that's when I got the lesson that community is required. There is no pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the sweat equity, elbow grease, all of that. But it's gonna take somebody opening a door, reaching out a hand, and making sure that you got an opportunity to live your best life and thrive. A brother did that for me, He was the only one who heard my story. I went to University of Tulsa just to meet him. He let me in. They brought in an expelled student, took a chance on me, didn't know anybody. I knew one person by the time I got up there, and then at the end of that year, I was student body president. And if that had happened when I was at SMU, I thought that it would have been because it's just me doing what I do. But there was no question that it was God giving me another chance, and it was other people who opened the door of grace. And I kept that lesson with me forever and a day. And my mission statement today is, the mission of Byron Keith Sanders is to love my God with all my heart and soul, to be the husband, father, son, and brother according to what pleases him, to work diligently and daily in my most sincere efforts to pursue my appointed purpose with honor, character, bravery, and love. I know who I am now. I know why I'm here. And I'm grateful that I've had an opportunity to get out here and live this life.
Well, that's great.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to start with you, Byron, on this one. In Curtis's book, chapter 6, it is titled, "There is No Competition." What advice would you give an entrepreneur as to how to view what some others may consider competition?
So that's a really powerful statement, because you really are, if you're doing anything worth doing, oftentimes it hasn't been done before. If you're doing something really cool, you're going to get to a place where you're looking around and you actually don't have peers. Yeah, there are people who are kind of doing something that you're doing, but if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're bringing something new that's a solution that some other people don't have. So ideally, you're going to have to be able to be comfortable with living on the frontiers of possibility. And there ain't nobody that you can reach out there and say, oh, I'm chasing that person, I'm chasing that person, I'm trying to be like that. Truly, living in your innovation zone is a place where I have found the most success. Bring a solution in a way that nobody else is doing it, and push yourself beyond what other people think is reasonable to solve that problem. Don't try and do things the way other people are doing it. And if somebody is looking at you a little bit crazy, you're probably on the right path.
Wow, okay. Next up, Lubbock.
Similar to Byron, I would definitely say it's definitely solving a problem, because that's why you get in business, is to be a problem solver, right? Provide solutions, get paid because you're a for-profit, otherwise you'd be doing something different, right? But I think it's also the level of value and service that you provide. Being in banking, our money is no greater than anybody else's money. We got other great bankers in here, you know, we can all say this and that, but at the end of the day, all money is green. The difference is, what difference are you making in that individual? You know, while you're making dollars, are you making a difference? While you're making profit, is it purposeful, right? And the competition element, in my opinion, is what makes us all greater. I come from an athletic background, so for me, if Byron is doing a great job, you know, in his previous career in banking, that's gonna make me step my game up even more, because at the end of the day, when the community wins, we all win. And people want to provide their business with people who are doing good business, providing good results. And it's enough piece of a pie. I don't know why we often think that it's not enough for all of us and we have to hold on so tight to what we have. It's enough for us to all eat. And I think the more that we go about that intentionally and know that the results are going to prove themselves is what breeds, you know, greater outcomes as an entrepreneur and a business owner. So I would just encourage those who see that, oh, this person is doing this, they being on panels, they getting all of this business. At the end of the day, people are going to see the great work that you're doing. They're going to want to be attracted. They're going to be attracted to you. But at the end of the day, what results are you providing them? So if you can provide that high level of service and quality outcomes for them, you're going to earn not only that person's business, but more business through that over time.
Okay, Mr. Parrish.
Sorry, Ms. Jones, I think I'm the oldest one up here. Can you repeat the question again?
No problem at all. So in chapter 6 of Curtis's book, it is titled, "There is No Competition." So do you have any advice to give to an entrepreneur on how they should view what some may consider to be competition?
And I thought that's what I heard. And the thing is, Brother Curtis, I probably have to read the chapter to take it in context, because my whole life to me is competition. Brother Lubbock is talking about, so like I said, I was a D1 full scholarship athlete at Purdue University. But early in 7th and 8th grade, I saw that I was better. I didn't like the subjectivity of football and basketball. But in track and field, you could challenge somebody. The first one across the line should be the one who runs the race. So I chose track and field, and that was where my talent was. In business, there's a lot of ways to win, but you really, one, to stay in business, you got to make a profit. In McDonald's, to grow restaurants, and okay, you guys know who Aramis Ertegun is? Nipsey Hussle. When I read his book, he talked about understand the economic engine. Understand the economic engine. So if you're in business, understand the economic engine. I run into so many people, they said, we want to start a nonprofit. They think money's going to flow in. Money's not going to flow in. So going back to economic engine, I knew when I got into McDonald's, there was a competition because you trained 2 years. I didn't say it. You worked at a McDonald's 2 years free, 25 hours a week, not minimum wage, free. 50 hours I worked for Exxon, 10 hours I commuted, and then 25 hours at a McDonald's restaurant, 1960 on 45 in Houston. So you were constantly graded because there were 7 other people in Houston who wanted to be franchisees. So to me, you were always competing. That's why I have to take it in context. Because to me, my whole life is compete. I did learn, pick, you can't battle everything. Remember I said my father was a fighter? He'd fight on everything. Stop sign. He'd argue with a stop sign. But I gotta pick my battles. Understand the process, understand the economic engine, because I wouldn't have grown from 1 to 27 restaurants by not competing. Sales, profitability, and I really learned 2 things. If I tell people, maybe 3, the new franchisees, save your money, build your financial statement. Because you turn in a financial statement every month to McDonald's, a balance sheet and income statement, and then train your people and treat them right. Pay them, because when you're not in the restaurant, you want them to perform and give you good service. You want them to serve hot fries. You don't want cold fries, right? Somebody eats fries here from McDonald's. You don't want cold fries, right? And so in Pleasant Grove, when I had 2 restaurants in my last story, I would have them overfill the box of fries. We slow drive through just a little bit, so you always had hot fries coming up, rather than like have 10 fries sitting, in the warmer. Then you hand it out, they're not full and they're cold. Because I want the girl to say, no, don't go to that McDonald's. Go to this McDonald's, because they have hot fries. And I would turn up the CO2 on the Sprite. Hey, anybody from Spruce? Anybody from Spruce? Spruce, Skyline, and Samuel were high school. And the kids take that sip. Oh, Mr. P, we like that kick you got with your Sprite. So anyway, mine is, to me, life is a competition. I got to read your book, I respect it. But to me, it's always a competition. Pick your fights. Understand what you're in, like every certain guy. Understand the economic model. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
Mr. Johnson.
I know it's a competition because there is competition. I had the pleasure of being chosen by Roland Parrish at his first McDonald's. Number 1, we did a remote broadcast, 91, 92?
1990, brother.
1990.
My first anniversary. My first anniversary.
There were other radio stations that Roland could have chosen, but he said, I want Willis Johnson. And then we probably did another 10, 12, 15.
Till I couldn't afford him anymore.
So there is competition. But in that time, so 5 years later is when I started my business, Curtis. Because I knew the radio station I worked at was not mine. And I knew at some point that Hyman Childs would say, I'm going to will this to my children. So I needed to start something on my own. Ron Kirk became mayor. And a number of people were trying to get to Ron, but I had known Ron since he was 18. And so Ron said to me, if you start a consulting firm and vet those people, I'll call you back. And then you vet them and I'll see if I'll meet them. And that's how I started the company. So there is a and there's been a competition for 30 years. Our company now is 31 years old. We have grown from where we were. But as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, without finance, it just ain't gonna happen. You need money. You need finance to support you. My banker, stand up, Nick. Stand up. Nick Rodriguez is my banker. Now, why is he here? I don't know, but Nick shows up. But Nick has been with me now. I don't mean just someplace you can put your money in a bank. That's not a banker, Mark. That's not what a bank is. A banker who is someone who understands your business, who understands your vision, and because they have to talk to the underwriters. You do have to have a balance sheet. You do have to make a profit. You have to have a decent profit, but you have to have somebody in the bank that says, take a risk on him. And were it not, and I don't see her now, she's at Chase Bank. Her name is Cherie Hicks. Cherie Hicks was at Amegy, and she said, he ain't no risk. He's been here 40 years, he ain't going nowhere. Why are we not taking a chance on him? So it takes somebody to fight for you. And so there is a competition. That competition is all the time. But I also think you sometimes compete with yourself to get better. You compete with yourself to increase. But the product has to be good. One of my biggest complaints is from people who look like me and say, well, he getting all the contracts. Put in the work. Do the work. And you'll get the contract. I have 45 people who are our teammates. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's the 1st? They get paid tomorrow. They get paid tomorrow. Jesus. That's why I need that banker. You know what you got 365 of them, so you know what. Payday is important, but you also have to have quality work. And you don't get to stay around 30 years if you don't have quality work. So there is a competition.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, yes, go ahead. Okay, Mr. Parrish, we're going to start with you. And yes, sir. And so this one has several parts to the question. So in chapter 7, you want to do it one at a time? So in chapter 7, don't hurt your net worth, okay? The question is, the first question is, how important has networking played in your journey? What are some mistakes you've made and some advice you can offer to others?
At first I thought you said net worth, which I was ready for that one. Networking. I'm gonna tell you, I'm probably the poorest person at networking. I see the value in it. I know my first 20 years in Dallas, and I would meet, as I mentioned to you, a lot of pastors and principals in the lobby, but I really didn't go out. I stayed in the restaurant. I was trying to run my restaurants. So I think there's value in networking and knowing people, regardless of whether they're high or low. We just talked about the value of banking. Since I'm winding down at McDonald's, I'm reading more books about people like J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the history of Merrill Lynch, and I see that banking is very, very important. Financial literacy, understanding what a balance sheet and income statement is very important. And I think that networking is really, he mentioned, it really wasn't networking, but he knew Ryan Kirk. And then Ryan Kirk became mayor. And so because of having relationships, so I would say I'm not the greatest at it, but I value the older I get, the relationships, the networking, the knowing people. And if people stop me, whether they're big or small, especially don't be above people.
That's right.
Yeah, don't be above people. And I'll mention this and then I'll give up the mic. The thing I learned in meetings, or even from my employees, if you don't agree with a statement, maybe hold off, because the next day, it might, you say, you know what, that's a pretty good statement. So I learned in my interaction with people, don't be so judgmental and make the decision right away. If you can, simmer on it, because what seemed like a bad idea, a bad thought, a bad suggestion, the next day, you know, it made sense, and we did it.
So I have to jump in on this one, because this brother here is so humble that he doesn't realize he's a master networker. And the way I'm gonna tell it true. So Mr. Parrish's networking, the reason why he's so good at it is because it looks very different from what most people think networking is. This brother's networking is so ubiquitous because it's in his generosity. It's in his generosity with his time. It's in his generosity, and I'll say this, with his humility. This man will show up. And it's, y'all heard him, #1 black-owned business in the region. And also, he's at Fort Oak Cliff at the backpack giveaways. He'll pull up to the community center. Why? Because he knows people who are doing something good in their community are out there. He's here today because this brother asked him to. Do you know how many mentees he has who has never come up and said, hey, will you be my mentor? I'm one of them. I'm following this man's example because how he moves through this space, I've never seen someone be as eminently respected, north, south, east, west, rich, poor, black, white, doesn't matter. Roland Parrish is beloved by these people. And not because he went and said, hey, here's something, here's my card, I'm trying to do something, let's do it. The thing that has jumped out and that stood out the most to me, which makes you eminently memorable, and it's not your wealth, and it's not your net worth, it's people who come and they talk to you and you remember the things that they said. It would be 3 weeks between the time when we talked about my dad and my brother or something, and then the time that you came up at the church, in the foyer, he's like, you remember, let's keep that conversation going. And he picks up where the conversation left off. It was a month ago. And I didn't remember what he was talking about. And I was like, oh yeah. I needed him to keep saying it a little bit just so I can remember. You are a master networker because you care about human beings and you take an interest in their lives. That's what it actually takes in order to be able to network.
And I think to really add emphasis on what Roland and Byron has said is that networking is making your network work, right? It's actually putting the work in to even cultivate one. And I think once you cultivate a great network, you create degrees of separation. And oftentimes people say 6 degrees of separation. I think in all honesty, it's 1 to 2. Just from the mere fact that, I know we're giving, great, flowers to, respectfully so to Roland, but Curtis Corbin, if it wasn't for you, the 4 of us wouldn't even be up here. And so I know from Roland to you and many others that we're all connected to through our mutual connection relationships, that allows other people to be able to reap from the fruit of others' labors. That extends the network and allows those after you, because we need successors to build that network even more. Because one day you're gonna need to kick your feet up even more and not build on these panels, and allow others like your daughter Jade and others to be able to further the network that you've created, right? And so for me, it's not only the degrees of separation that's created and fostered through these type of relationships, but it's the value of that network. You can know a lot of people. It's equality. What results are they providing? I always tell people when you come and bank with me, other bankers may be able to help you transactionally. With me, it's going to be transformationally. And it's a huge difference. You're going to get relationships, opportunities, information. You're going to get speed and impact. If you're not getting those things from your banker, you're at the wrong bank. And then for me, in addition to that, it's really been able to have individuals that are going to go above and beyond and exceed that, so that when you pick up a phone call, you get instant results that are optimal. For me, you know, just like what was said about Byron in terms of, you know, if you need some, you get that within your network, etc. You know, I know that firsthand, even with sitting next to Mr. Parrish, that last year, February, for the annual Black History Month we hosted at Vista Bank, the bank I lead in South Dallas is not only the first bank in South Dallas in over 30 years, but it's the largest one in that area. It's over 11,000 plus square feet. We got the bank, the Financial Literacy Center, the Dallas Rec Chamber of Commerce is office there. We got a community center lounge area where you get free Wi-Fi, free coffee, and we got an entrepreneurship center. He comes that February and is our side keynote speaker, and we have over 300 plus people there. Through his network, mine, and others that are there. But it's not just for people to show up and hear something, it's what are we doing with this network that ultimately gets the result of the net worth. And you don't get a net worth if you don't make your network work. And I think that's the greatest outcome that we can have up here, because that's what allows us to make the difference in the transformation we're looking to make through our networks.
Mr. Johnson.
Good. That's good.
I agree with Byron. I wanted to jump in on Byron, but because, and we continue to talk about Roland because most people do know him for his philanthropy. But I just happen to know Roland when he didn't have that money. He didn't. I mean, but he was growing, and so it was really a pleasure to kind of work with him as he grew. But I do think it's being in that community, and that's networking is one of the things. When you're on the radio, you don't have a choice but to network. I was walking today, Curtis, downtown, and a lady stopped me. She almost had a wreck. She said, "Are you Willis Johnson?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Oh my God, I used to listen to you on the radio. Oh my God, oh my." Do you know I have been on the radio 15 years? But it was that networking, that the time that I was on, we were in South Dallas. See, now listen, there's a difference, Nakia, between Southern Dallas and South Dallas. I'm looking at this crowd, nobody here know nothing about the Plush Pup. See, there was some networking going on at the Plush Pup. RJ's by the lake, which was over by Bottom Lake. Yeah, but then, that was the New Birth Baptist Church on Idaho. Oh, see, I lost y'all right there. See, y'all know it. Down here on Loop 12 with Rev Pryor. I remember when it was on Idaho. Then there's West Dallas, Reverend Gene West, Reverend W.J. Shackelford. See, it's not just the Plush Pup. I was in the club and the church. Don't miss me. Don't. See, I know what I'm talking about. That's the true networking, and it was that ability. And listen, really, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. I prefer not to do it. However, that's what God has blessed me with, and that networking has turned my company into a multi-million-dollar company, and I give it all honor to God.
I'm gonna add something real quick, I promise you, is that when it comes to networking, please, it's just one word of advice. Please seek to serve, value, and serve others first. I think the biggest mistake that people make is, what can you do for me? They make it very one-sided. I think if each one of us does what the Bible says and putting others' interests above our own and seeking to create a relationship that's fostering a mutually beneficial win-win reciprocal relationship, we will get so much further than, hey, Mr. Parrish, what can you do for me? Can you do this? Don't do that. What you should be doing, hey, Mr. Parrish, what can I do to add value and serve? When you do that, it unlocks so much of a heart of generosity to say, you know what, this is what I need, but in return, what can I do for you? If you do that with networking, I promise you, If you shorthanded and get the transaction, it stops here. But you seek to serve, the opportunities and relationships are limitless.
No, but I can't let that go, because I think about Curtis. Curtis was networking at the DRC. Where's Latasha? Curtis was networking at the DRC that morning. He made his pitch to the Dallas Regional Chamber. It was that morning that Byron and I both said, let's support that. And I said, here's my number, here's my address, come by, you can get a check today. Now here's a funny part about that. I gave him a check that day. But because I wrote the check, and he was cashing it, they didn't want to cash the check. Am I right about it?
Right about it.
And they checked and said, oh no, the money's in the bank. But we're going to have to hold that check. For how many days? 14 days. That's a whole nother story. I'm going to stop right there. Stop it.
Hopefully that won't us, Curtis.
Oh my goodness. Can we give these legendary men a round of applause? Thank you very much.
All right. Y'all still here?
Yes.
Right? And so before we get into the man of the hour, I want to thank again our panelists for being here. If you all want to take a reserved seat before we get into this next round. All right, so I want to remind y'all, go behind you, go on over here, because I didn't have a book on that side, right? How many of you all ordered your book? Ooh, what a noise that? How many of you all ordered your book? Y'all streaming.
Have a good night.
Huh? Oh, you got some more? What do you want to do that first? Before you get into your jam? All right, I'm going to remind you all to order your book, So What? Don't make excuses, make moves. Very powerful. Mr. Curtis, I remember when it was just an idea and you began to work on it, but we're going to go ahead. He has some awards that he wants to give out first before he gets into his keynote address, and then we'll be wrapping this thing up. We got some Q&A for you all as well, as you all want to ask some questions. So go ahead, Mr. Curtis.
Lord, I didn't know this many people was here. Oh, my son and my daughter's here. Thank y'all for showing up late. Anyway, I'm gonna be real brief. Lubbock and what Byron Sanders? Right here. Y'all forgive me, y'all's award did not make it here, but I will promise I'll get it here. But you all, I think that when you think of people like Roland Parrish and Willis Johnson, these guys are legends in this community and all that they do and everything. And I know, listen, that's why you got to read the book. When you read about what I talk about with competition, you'll see what I'm talking about. So you got to read the book to understand. I mean, they were making good points, but all I'm simply saying is competition is a mindset, because we can allow our competition to cause us not to do things. Because yes, please. That's why the more they was talking, I said, y'all messing up my book. Yeah. Anyway, Brother Parrish, I want to honor you. Make sure I pick this up right. Yeah, Roland Parrish. You're the first recipient of the Edna P. Community Service Award.
That's great.
And if any of you all know don't know Edna Pemberton, you must never lived in Redbird or in the Oak Cliff area. Edna P. is a legend. She's the reason why I am who I am today and everything. And also Willis Johnson. You are the first recipient of, I call it the Boots on the Ground Award. Thank you, man. I'm gonna be real. Jim Scoggins, y'all, let me tell you something real quick. You see that tall white man back there? That's he always tells me I'm his brother from another mother. Jim, I love you, man. I appreciate it. Real quick and I'm gonna be done. I always like to say, so what? Y'all, everybody's going through something. Life is lifing. There's a lot going on in the government and everything. But are we gonna make excuses or are we gonna make moves? When you wake up every single day, you are faced with the choices of either you're gonna sink or are you gonna swim. Are you gonna sink or are you gonna swim? Or are you going to win? What is your competition? You don't have competition. I'll say it again. You are your only competition. It's a mindset. Everything starts with a mindset. Even as I stand here today before you, I'm facing obstacles. But I don't allow those obstacles to stand in the way of what I have, what God has called me to do. What God has called me to do. What I look like is not what I'm going through, but I don't allow people. Because God has blessed me in such a way. God has blessed me in such a way that He allows me to get up every day. And sometimes I say, Lord, when does this battle stop? At the end of the day. One of the things Roland Perry didn't talk about is, when he tried to open his first McDonald's, they told him no. Guess what? He could have folded his tin and went on. You know what he said? So what? I'm not going to make excuses, I'm going to make moves. And now look at it today. Some of you all are sitting here in these seats right now. Nicole Douglas, a real good friend of mine, a mentor of mine. This brother decided to step out here by faith. He could have had a lucrative job, 6 figures. But he's not going to make excuses, he's going to make moves. Everybody in this room today, God wants you to make moves. Quit making excuses. I believe in people always want to come talk to me about starting something, about starting a business. I'm only listening to your problem one time. After that, we're either going to make moves, I don't want to hear from you. At the end of the day, my daughter sometimes say that's rude. No. Let's not make excuses, let's make moves. That's what I'm going to tell you when you leave out. And I got people walking out of my office, Curtis, that's not what I want to hear. Well, I'm not the person to talk to. At the end of the day, because guess what? You get older day by day. Today, tomorrow's not promised. So you got to make, I don't care what you've been through. I don't care if you've been through a divorce. I don't care if the bank did not give you the money. I don't care if people don't believe in you. Believe in yourself.
Say that.
Y'all don't hear me.
I hear you loud and clear.
I'm in a struggle right now, but guess what? I'm not making excuses. I'm making moves every day. Despite what I'm going through. I'm going to make moves every day. I don't care what the devil say.
Right.
I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to fight through what I fight through. Depression tries, but guess what? You got to fight. You got to get up ready to fight. If you think you're going to get up and everything's just going to fall in your lap, you might as well stay asleep.
Say that.
I'm going to challenge everybody in this room in the next 72 hours. I'm going to challenge you to make moves. Stop making excuses. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, begin to decide what is your next move. What is your next move? I don't care how small it is. You got to make a move. Because if you don't make a move, guess what? You're going to be stagnant. It's just like swimming. As long as you keep your feet moving, you can stay above water. It's when you stop moving your feet, it's when you sink. It's when you drown. These legends are here today because guess what? They make moves every day. So what move are you going to make tomorrow? What move are you going to make when you wake up tomorrow morning? Ask yourself that question. I already know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to make some moves. So what are you going to do? Quit making excuses. Make moves. Because you know what move I'm about to make right now? I got 400 books left. And there's enough people in this room where those 400 books need to disappear. I learned that from Pastor Bailey. So can I challenge you all to help me get these 400 books out of the way tonight? So I need to make sure we get those 400 books out of here. I don't want to take them home. I'm not taking them home. I ordered 1,000 books. I got 400 left, and y'all gonna help me move. Amen? Amen. However we decide to do it, if you want to scan the QR code and order, guess what? If each one of y'all order 2 or 3 more, guess what I'm gonna do with them? I work with Prison Fellowship. There are guys in the prison entrepreneurs class. When they come out of prison, they've learned how to be entrepreneurs. They need this book because they face obstacles. We're in an unforgiving society. People are not forgiving people. People are paid a debt to their society. But these men, guess what? I tell them, don't make excuses. Let's make moves. And I'm going to give those books to them because they need to read this book. I'm going to take those 400 books. So I need to challenge you all to help me to get rid of these 400 books tonight. If you want to scan the QR code 1 or 2 more times, each one of y'all just order 2 or 3 books. We got it. Now Now, y'all may not like me, but I just challenge y'all. At the end of the day, let's make moves and not make excuses. Amen? Amen. Now, I want to see the books go. I want to see it. The QR code is right out here.
All right, so the QR code is right out there for those of you who want to purchase. You all, we
No,
just.
no.
Oh.
I didn't say one. No,
No,
not Lorna. Gona.
See, he juiced up now, you know. Again, Mr. Curtis, this is your time to shine. We're gonna get into some Q&A. We thank God for you, and we thank God for your vision, for seeing this is a very powerful room to be in because God is here. And I remember he just had an idea. He's like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm like, I told you about them days. It used to just be me and Mr. Curtis in the space. A few of us in there. Amanda, you was in there. And I'm like, you should write the book. Yeah. Then they see, time go on and Mr. Curtis was like, my book's coming out. I got my book signed. And the Deck Network, we believe in you. Well, this is an event for us. Any of my people in here, I want to get them. Hey, in here, Deck Network, y'all wave. Hey, y'all, hey. All right, cool. So we're gonna jump in again into some Q&A. You all are going to get books. I can't wait to scan and get mine as well. But anybody out there in the audience, y'all? This is audience Q&A. You get to ask Mr. Curtis a question. Or the panel, our panelists, our legends. It's an honor to be in this space with you all. Again, as I shared, I came from Minneapolis. Long story short, was up there with all kinds of things, active in community. I'm a community baby, so I know that God brought me here for a reason as well. Hold on, I got another mic. I know God brought me here for a reason as well. I looked up, and my first year I was working from home. Second year came around, I said I'm gonna look for a job. And 3 weeks later, I was working at the Deck Network, and I've been here ever since. And I know it's nothing but God that I was here, and I'm impactful in the right place, right, with the right folks. So that's amazing. Anybody, what y'all got out there? We're gonna do some Q&A. Come on, Lubbock.
This question is for Curtis. When starting your successful business, right? How important was it for you when creating a sustainable and scalable business to have cash flow so that when you came to a bank and you were in a position to ask for a loan to scale it, what was the importance of that and what did you have to do in order to get in that position?
I am so glad you asked that question because cash flow is so important. When I had my DART contract, if I would have leveraged that contract properly, I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now. I'm not ashamed of where I'm at today. I'm not ashamed because guess what? My pain has helped me to gain. I'm learning from my mistakes. I've made a hell of a lot of mistakes. But because of people that I look up to like Jim Scoggins, like Roland Parrish, Willis Johnson, Lubbock, and these guys, they believe in me. And even though I make mistakes, they still love me and they still appreciate me. But cash flow is so very important. You know, there was a time where my balance sheet and everything was right, and then I hit a wall. But it's so important to have steady cash flow. Cash flow, if you don't have a relationship with a bank, please get a relationship with the bank. And also, like Roland Parrish always said, every time I hear him say, pay your taxes. On time. Roland Parrish, when he talks to you, that's what he's going to say after you get done talking. Pay your taxes. Please pay your taxes. But cash flow is so vital because you cannot sustain it, you cannot scale if you don't have cash flow. And you should be trying to build your cash flow over time as you go along. So, I don't know.
Good.
Yes, thank you. And if you all don't know what the Deck Network does, we offer resources, programs, and events for entrepreneurs that are actually free to participate in. We have this amazing co-working space here in Redbird, but also in Fort Worth. We have another space as well that you can office with us, right? But our programs and our resources and all those opportunities, our events, we set entrepreneurs up to scale their business. And oftentimes that's what we need to hear, right, as a people, is how can you do that? How many people you know had their own business for 15 years and you still working 3-4 jobs, right? That's what Mr. Curtis's book is gonna help guide you in that direction as well. I seen a hand back there, my brother, what you got? 1 second.
Travis Wortham, a friend of that giant that's been honored tonight for over 30-something plus years, and Miss Pim and Willis Johnson and all the rest of the crew. Curtis, I'm gonna help you sell those books. I'm gonna give you something you didn't realize. When I release my book, I want some people to buy cases of books. Not 1, 2, or 3. We get them to buy 2 or 3 cases, we can sell them all in a few minutes. So some of them can write some checks for a case of books. And also, I've walked with Curtis a long time. Curtis, you know, we've been in the jungle down in the hole. And I'm going to be calling on you this summer because we're going to do a big boys event at Skyline Ranch. Y'all, we're going to do something that Dallas have not seen. It won't be stuff they'll get in the classroom or stuff they're going to find in a book. We're going to teach these boys something they have not known. Curtis, we're going to be calling on you. We're going to need all your buses, by the way. So, Curtis, what have you done in terms of your networking that has allowed you to gain all of the vehicle equipment that you have done, and where did they come from?
Woman.
Oh, you cut it off?
Hello?
There's another one up there. Thank you.
Hello? Okay, y'all, this is crazy.
Here comes testing.
Hello, hello, okay. My networking has been so crucial to my success. And even my setbacks is when I've had setbacks, my network has held me up and hold on to me. One of the biggest things I did when I got connected with the Dallas Regional Chamber, and I got that contract to do shuttle service for Tasha and them. When she came and asked me if I could do it, I told a little white lie, and I said, yeah. And I had no buses to do no charter, no buses. But I prayed and I figured it out. Ms. P always said, when they ask you if you can do something, just say yeah and figure it out. And that's what I did. And so I partnered with a company that had charter buses. But when I got on the buses, guess who was on the buses? CEOs. And so I got to network and present before CEOs and people with money, foundations, and everything. And so that networking allowed me to meet people I would have never met. It's so important. It's so important to get to know people and surround yourself with people that's where you want to be. A lot of people I want as my mentors are people that are millionaires. You know why? Because I'm going to get there too. But they already there, so they know how to get there. And people with integrity.
That's right.
It is so important. So your networking is your network at the end of the day. And that's why I love the people I know like Jim Scoggins and Roland Parrish and Willis Johnson. These guys mean the world to me. And my boy Grover Carter back there. So yeah, my networking has really helped me to be where I am today, even with the setbacks I faced.
All right, yes. Dr. Janine. Awesome, Dr. Janine K. Brain Tap Lady. Curtis Corbin, congratulations, sir. I want to get in your head right quick, if I will. What excuse does your subconscious mind or your emotional mind try to make every day that you have to say, so what?
Well, one thing I always say that ain't for you. And I say it is for me, and then some. And even as I go through some of the issues that I'm dealing with now, I have to ask myself the question, am I going to allow those barriers to become my carriers? You'll get that on the way home.
Yeah.
Whatever barriers that are in front of me, I'm gonna allow them to carry me over. And so whenever I'm faced with something, and the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yes, it is.
The mind is a terrible thing to waste. When I wake up and have to battle the mindset, I have to tell myself, first of all, I say, thank you, God, for another day. And there are days when I'm feeling down and I feel like depression setting in, and I know there's nobody but the devil trying to. Whenever God is trying to elevate you, the devil is going to do everything in his power. And I know God is about to elevate me to new levels. Because what's all saying, new levels, new devils? So in my mind, I have to battle through those negative thoughts. And that's why when I talk about competition, I look out there, well, Uber and Lyft, I get that all the time. Don't you worry about Uber and Lyft? No, I don't worry about them. And that's all I'm saying when I say there's no competition. I'm talking about, I don't look at Uber and Lyft as competition. Because I'm my own competition at the end of the day. That's all I'm saying. I agree with these brothers. There's competition out there, but I don't worry, because if I get to worrying about in my mind, oh man, Uber's got the corner market. I mean, got the market corner, whatever it is. But let me tell y'all something. Medical transportation is a huge market. And I'm telling y'all, transportation, there's a huge market out there if you want to invest in transportation. So, what competition? FIFA's here. Do you know what FIFA's about to do for my business? And that's God. God's gonna always provide. It's all about your walking your relationship with God. So whatever the mind is trying to tell me not to do, God tells me to go out there by faith at the end of the day.
All right. Thank you so much. You sounded ready for the so what movement. That's what that sounded like. All right, we got time for maybe one more question. Oh, I was in the back in the corner. Can you meet me up here? Okay. Yeah, both of y'all, come on, just come on. We'll take both. As we go ahead and get into the networking and that book signing and stuff. Yes. What you got?
Hello, this is my first network event, but my name is Corey. I'm an entrepreneur. I used to own my own nutrition club in Van Alstyne, called Van Alstyne Nutrition. And I coined a phrase, impact over income, because I believe in like allowing me to make an impact and let God do the income. So I did it for 4 years and life, and I'm here now, back in Dallas for 3 years. So my question is like, how do you start again? My biggest problem in life right now is I have a momentum. All PKs, I'm a PK. Tony Monk is my dad. I'm nervous, Jesus. But my question is, a point of my journey somewhere, I stopped. And I don't know if I stopped believing or if I stopped growing, but altogether I stopped. So my overall question is like, how do you start again? Like I had a passion for everything that I do, but because of life and how life happened, it's just transition. So I'm just like, how do you keep going? How do you get past those barrels in life to keep pushing past those things, I guess. I'm trying to work.
You start by being here tonight. Don't make excuses. Let's start making moves. Let's pick up where you left off at. Wherever it is where you stop. And in fact, I want to help mentor you so you can get going again.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, because you are at that point where you're ready to give it up. But you cannot, because God has given you that gift, man. And whatever that gift is, you gotta let that gift multiply. So don't let the devil trick you out of what God has for you. I'm telling you. And that's what you gotta always, you gotta look, you gotta keep looking ahead. I don't know a lot of scriptures, but I know God. And that's all that matters.
I love it. That's right.
I can quote some, but not all.
That's right.
So, my brother, let me get your number tonight, man. I don't have a lot, but I have a lot of ideas, man. And now I'm gonna tell you now, if you're gonna come to me, we're not making excuses. We're gonna make moves. All right. So you just gotta begin to pick up where you left off at. And I think Leopard wants to say something.
Yeah. I honestly was gonna say you kind of hinted to what you need in order to overcome the obstacle. Is you mentioned passion, and I think a lot of us say, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate, but I think passion dies. I think you need to really know what your purpose is and what God has created and called you to be, and that passion, is going to be that fuel to your purpose, but that.
Cutting us all out, ain't it? I got a little juice, don't you take my juice from my life.
Now, I was gonna say is that you need to really know what you've been called to do, and that's not a job, that's not a vocation. That's no matter what you're doing, whether you're a janitor or you're a substitute or whatever the case may be. Because I've been there myself as well, and from being a substitute, coming back to Dallas and now being where I'm at. But also last July, I got diagnosed with colorectal cancer. In this world, you're gonna face trials and tribulations,
Yes.
but the word says is that. Don't fear, God has overcome the world. So you're already an overcomer. That's in your DNA. That's in your purpose. But when you're not aligning yourself with that purpose that God has called you to, you're trying to chase everything else, that passion is what you end up chasing. That ends up eventually dying. So you need to find your purpose. When you find that walk in that passion is what, burns your belly in the morning, but you need to fuel that by what God is calling you to in your identity every single day. And when you marry those two things together, you create profit and God's promise not only over your life, but you help others do the same thing. So I believe if you do those things just one day at a time, I guarantee you you'll see the results.
Thank you. You said your name's Corey? All right, Corey. So Corey, when you're done, I want to connect with you as well. I'm gonna give you my card because, as I stated, I'm the program coordinator here at the DEC Network. I have an upcoming program that happens in June. Okay, and our applications closed like last week, but I'm gonna open my application for you and talk to you more about your business and see how we can support you here at the DEC Network, because that's what we do. And it ain't your gift, it's your gifts. They're plural. So just know we got you, brother. You in the right place. See, look at you. First networking again. You out here doing your thing. I love it. Come on, the other Mr. Curtis, get on up here.
I have a question. First, I have to say, like everyone else, how proud we are of you. I've known you 30 years, so I'm wow. And I have to shout out to you what you just said. I'm waiting on your book. Lubbock was one of my students at Carter, and now to see him doing what he's doing. But here's my question. Y'all two were talking about the cash flow. My situation is I make $1 million the first 6 months, and then the last 6 months, nothing. Do I use my own cash flow, or do I? How do I do that? If y'all can help me with that.
Okay. You the bank. I'm gonna say this real quick because if you want to know more information, you need to come bank with me. With that being said, it's an acronym called OPM. It stands for Other People's Money. We come from a background from black households. We historically we weren't even provided access to capital from banks, but now it's at a point to where banks need our money in order to make money. We don't make money off no's, but you want to be able to create a win-win opportunity off of what you know is going to be a good risk worth taking. So you need to be able to create that collateral. So it's 5 C's. I'm gonna make it real quick because I don't want to go to the whole thing, but it's character, it's capacity, it's capital, it is condition, and collateral. 5, your character. Who are you when nobody's in the room, and what's your relationship with money? That's going to be your character. Capacity is the muscle that builds up how much debt you can take on. Capital, cash is king. It's in the core, in the middle. If you notice between the 5, it's in the middle. It keeps everything glued together. Condition, what are you trying to get this money for? And do you have the conditioning to sustain this debt? The last one is collateral. It's the anchor that in event this don't go right, what's going to repay the debt? Because it's all about being repaid. So you're going to position yourself with the bank and showing that you need my money, all right, in this relationship to go make more money, but how can you help me position me to make more money so I can put this money in your bank and you can pay me at 3%, lend this out at 6%, and make a 3% difference. When you do that, you're creating a win-win relationship between you and your banker. So I think that cash flow, that's money, what's coming in and what's going out, once you have more coming in, how are you leveraging that to scale it so that way you can create more income for yourself to produce more assets?
And let me say this, just because you make $1 million don't mean you're a millionaire. Because you can make $1 million and spend out 1.5 million. I had to learn it the hard way. But it's okay. Don't think because you made $1 million that you're a millionaire. You're a broke millionaire. But I'm going to say this in closing, you all. I'm ready to start the So What movement.
Yeah.
And I need every one of y'all to jump on board because I'm going to change mindsets. I'm about to get out here and change mindsets because y'all, it's out there to be made. But it's all about who you surround yourself with and what your mindset is. See that picture where I'm stepping on all those excuses? No money, so what? Homeless, so what? I was homeless when I got started. I was sleeping in a piece of a truck outside. Went from the first year of making $27,000 to DART contract 6 years later, $5.2 million. There's nobody but God. And guess what? God's about to elevate me more because I don't make excuses. I make moves. Because I know God took me from homelessness to greatness. And God wants to take everybody in this room to greatness. And Travis, to your point, I have sold some cases. In fact, Lubbock's already bought a case from me.
Okay.
So all you gotta do is to buy a case and we'll be done with this thing. If you want to Zelle me, you can Zelle me at CorbinsCurtis@yahoo.com. I don't see nobody move.
Yeah.
Come on now, I need to get rid of these bucks tonight.
Come on, Zelle.
You can Zelle me at CorbinsCurtis@yahoo.com. All right?
All right.
Don't buy one book.
Oh, yeah.
Buy 10.
Yes. Thank you all. So before we, what you got, bro?
My name's City, videographer over here. If everyone could actually please go to him, he'll have 3 questions for you to answer and also have you say his statement. We're gonna put that in his marketing and promo.
Okay, y'all got that? So as we prepare to transition into the networking time and the book signing time, I just got a couple of announcements. All right, so again, with the DEC Network, we have we presenting the Mompreneur Summit 2026, and that is happening May 19th. I need glasses. Ooh, praise God. May 19th at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's virtual, so if that is you, moms, if you want to come on out to that summit, it's an amazing opportunity. Sponsored by Capital One. Just go ahead and scan that QR code for you, so you can RSVP, invite a friend, all the things. Give you some. Anybody want to scan? Y'all heard of scan? I see your phone out. Come on, phone too. Thank you. All right, Your Startup. So we are wrapping up our Your Startup cohort for 2026. That's my baby. We're actually wrapping up this week. This week was our last session. So upcoming, we got pitch practice, and then in 2 weeks, we got pitch competition on May 12th. So if you've never seen a pitch competition, or you like, hey, I'm coming out to the pitch competition, scan that code, May 12th from 4:30 to 6:30 right here at the DEC Network Frostbird Event Center. We're gonna have catering. Mr. BJ, probably usually caters our meals. They'd be delicious. Y'all got that tea? Y'all taste that tea out there? Man, just a family recipe or something. So that's powered by PNC. But we're gonna go ahead and give you an opportunity to scan this QR code to RSVP. Come back out and see us. We wanna pack this space. We'll have 8 entrepreneurs actually pitching in front of judges and walking away with the prizes, with the prize money. So we are very excited for that. Thank you so much. And as we're transitioning, I think that was my last announcement. You got like a little, no music or nothing, is it, Karen? No, okay. So we're gonna transition into the book side of some, okay, there you go. I'm like, there was some music somewhere. There you go. You go ahead, hit us with some of that playlist you had on the coming in, or like on the low, as everybody, yeah, got it. Mr. Curtis, you wanna go ahead and take your seat?
Yeah. I'll take my seat. And I know that my panelists have to get to.
And your panelists, yeah.
But listen, thank you guys.
There you go.
I really appreciate it.
We'll get you a chair.
Yeah, Mama, shake your hand before you leave.
Yes, anybody that wants to greet Mr. Curtis, all the things before he goes, he's gonna be up here signing books. Anybody need to purchase your book,